Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aubrey and this is my video for the full moon in Capricorn that is happening on Thursday, June 24th, 2021 at approximately 2:41 p.m. So let's get into this report of the energetics for this full moon that we have going on and everything that is going to be lighting up for us, exposing in our lives, and bringing up for us within the next couple weeks as we finish playing out this new moon in Gemini cycle. So we have the full moon, the degree of the sun and the degree of the moon today, where they're forming a direct opposition, because that's what a full moon is, when the moon comes into direct opposition, exact opposition by degree to the placement of the sun at that current point in time. It happens once a month as the moon goes through its lunar cycle, and it marks the halfway point in the new moon energetics that began 2 weeks prior when the sun and the moon were together, and it kind of exposes and brings to light everything that has been unfolding during that period of time, so we can see where we're at and what more work needs to be done to finish whatever we started then. Okay, so it is showing us and exposing where we're at in terms of what was going on with that new moon in Gemini. So you might want to check back to my new moon in Gemini video that happened a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember what the exact date of it was right now, but we're in a very active new moon cycle right now, especially for revelations and new understanding, new information coming to us that changes our mind about a lot of things and helps us move out of one way of being in one aspect of our life and sort of transform and embrace a totally new way of being in another aspect of our life, depending on how this energy is playing out and affecting us. So, just need some water. So today, with the degree of this moon, and of course, the moon is also conjuncting the earth, who is also in direct opposition to the sun on a daily basis. So, okay, let's get into the aspects. First of all, and this is like, a major theme of the energetic of this full moon because of the degree that it's occurring at, okay? It's occurring at 4 degrees, like I said, of Cancer and Capricorn. And 4 degrees of the earth signs, or of, 4 degrees of Capricorn, where the moon is going to be for this full moon today, is an exact trine to a special point in the sky that's called the Chiron point. And this is the point in the sky where Chiron was discovered, so it holds a special significance in relation to the Chiron archetype, the Chiron themes, and just how the energetics of Chiron generally play out. And just something to note, people who do have this degree, which is the Chiron point is at 4 degrees of Taurus, people who do have the Chiron point active in their chart by a planet or by an angle, just generally aspecting, usually carry somewhat of this Chiron archetype throughout their life in the nature of, the experiences they have and, what they do. So just a little point of reference there. If you want to check your chart and see if you have the Chiron point activated, this is going to apply even more so to you because it's a feature of your own natal chart. But what does Chiron rule and what does a Chiron point rule? Chiron rules the hero's journey, ultimately. He's the wounded healer teacher. So what that really means is that, when there's a lot of Chiron activation going on in any chart or by any transit, it really brings up issues and creates circumstances that cause some type of wounding or some type of deep pain or trauma, but it's not pointless. The point of it is so that we can go on this inner journey that forces us to face this pain, this trauma, this wounding, but then eventually we learn to heal it. We learn all about it and we learn how to heal it and we learn how to grow from it, and we actually learn how to master that particular experience. And through that process, we also become teachers and beacons of light and helpers for other people who are also going through similar experiences and painful wounding and trauma to what we have. So, the Chiron archetype, the Chiron theme is always about bringing us through painful and traumatic situations, but because it's pushing us to search for the gold in our soul and the gold inside of us and our ability to master our reality, master the circumstances, and then become the beacon of light and the guiding star for other people also on that same journey. It's just how the energetic operates. And so with this moon, this full moon in Capricorn in a trine to the Chiron point, in the context of all of this overall saga, this overall picture we have going on, it's I think that we collectively are going to be going on somewhat of a hero's journey this month, and I think that this moon, over this next 2-week period, as we close out the new moon in Gemini, move towards the new moon in Cancer, and this energy sort of, that is fully on blast with the full moon sort of begins to wane out, I think it is going to bring up issues regarding like deep wounding and trauma that need to be healed and overcome and alchemized. Chiron rules alchemy, and mastered during this period of time. We're mastering our weaknesses, really learning and growing from the things that have happened to us. And this also has a lot to do with what's been going on with Mercury. Remember, we are in the Gemini cycle as this is unfolding. So it has a lot to do with the information that we're learning now pertaining to things that may have happened in the past that we didn't understand fully at the time, that we were in some type of confusion or delusion or hypnosis about, seeing things from a different perspective, gaining new ideas, gaining new insights and alternative viewpoints, and it really changing our idea and our view of reality. And then also with the South Node in Sagittarius, being able to release our old beliefs about how things have always been and, how we've believed them to be, and being able to open and receive this new information and to alter our vision and view of reality in alignment with these new revelations that are coming to us. So we've been going through a period of processing a lot of information, all the while that Mercury and Gemini have been so activated through this Gemini cycle with the eclipses that we just had, and also, the fact that the North Node is in Gemini and the South Node in Sagittarius. And now that we have this full moon in Capricorn happening with an exact trine to the Chiron point, we're going to be feeling our wounding, we're going to be feeling the pain during this cycle, I think, and it's going to be bringing things up for us, but it's going to be bringing that up so that we can, like I said, transform these feelings through wisdom and growth and heal them and be able to inspire others along that same path and that same journey as well. So that is just definitely a theme of this full moon that we have going on this month. Another thing is, the Sabian symbols themselves that are activated for this full moon. We have the sun at 4 degrees of Cancer, and this is that degree. And for anyone who doesn't know, Sabian symbols are like energetic depictions of frequencies of each and every one of the various degrees of the zodiac. So we can read this symbol and it gives us a better idea, like vibrationally, of how this energetic is operating. So I like to use them because it just gives us more clarity about what is going on with the aspects in any particular moment in time. So 4 degrees of Cancer, this is where the full moon is, or the sun is for the full moon opposition today. And this degree is a cat arguing with a mouse. And, this degree, whenever it's activated, lets us know that there is really not, we are going to really want to refrain from any type of fruitless confrontation or unnecessary self-justification or arguing for the point of arguing during this cycle. It's really not going to benefit us. And the moon at 4 degrees of Capricorn with the earth in that trine to the Chiron point is a party entering a large canoe. So we're going on a journey by water, and water symbolically translates into the emotional field and, the more psychic realms of our existence and feeling nature. So we're going on a journey through our feelings over the course of this full moon period and the rest of the Gemini cycle. And that's just something to keep in mind, because we're going to be in our emotions a lot during this full moon period and over the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to say this now, and then I'm going to say it several more times throughout my report. This is not the time for impulsive feelings or impulsive actions based on feelings that come up that are that you're really passionate about, or that are upsetting you in some type of way and making you just want to rebel and break free and do something crazy to get out of any situation that you feel like is limiting or hindering or restricting you in any type of a way. And this really starts now with this full moon in Capricorn energetic, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn and we have this Saturn square Uranus going on, and Mars is about to move within range of the opposition to Saturn. And we have the sun for this day discharging that 4 degrees of Cancer, a cat arguing with a mouse. And when Mars, for this period of time and over the next 2 weeks, as Mars moves into opposition with Saturn, square to Uranus, and then moves out, we really, really, really want to be careful with starting any type of conflicts, any type of, like I said, rash or impulsive actions based on passionate feelings that we're having to break free or to speak our mind or to change something. It's not going to have the impact or the outcome that you would expect or that you would potentially desire. And it's really not going to amount to much of anything that can satisfy you in the long term, other than unanticipated long-term consequences that end up causing problems that you really just don't want to be dealing with. So this is the first time I say it. Like I said, I'm probably going to come back and say this again, but no needless conflict starting now and throughout the next 2 weeks. And we are, with this, going on a journey through the realms of the psyche and emotions, and it's a time for exploring our inner issues. A party entering a large canoe. It's a time to, look and take a deep look at the contents of our psyche and our feelings and our emotions, and just observe how they're operating and observe our feelings without impulsively acting on them. Okay. If it's something that's very well thought out, and you've been thinking about it for a long time, an action that you've been thinking about for a long time, and you've been planning and you've really been pondering about it and thinking hard about it, that's totally different. I'm specifically speaking about impulsive actions and just spontaneous action as well that, you haven't thought of until this moment. You need to restrain from that type of thing. Next, I want to talk about Saturn again for just a minute. The Sabian symbol where Saturn is for this too is also very interesting to me. A barometer is the degree, 13 degrees where Saturn is retrograde. So really putting us to the test and seeing how much pressure we can withstand. How much can we take at this period of time? And it's interesting because that's the degree while we have this full moon going on and while we have Mars coming into aspect with Saturn and with Uranus. This is really gonna heat things up. Uranus rules sudden, shocking, explosive change. And Uranus ultimately always is working to put us back in line with our authenticity and to make things right for us. But it just makes, and it's a desire to break free and to rebel as well. So, there is this intense desire to break free, to rebel, to make spontaneous, just shocking decisions about things in a square, creating conflict and tension with Saturn and Mars, who are in opposition to each other. And Saturn retrograde is really asking us to limit ourselves and to hold back and to work really hard right now at reforming and reevaluating the foundation or the baseline of whatever area of our life Saturn is operating in right now, because he wants us to be creating something that's going to be more long-lasting, more enduring, more sustaining, and ultimately bring us better fulfillment in the future. And he wants us to be very diligent about it. And, with this square to Uranus, he really wants us, he's limiting us right now and frustrating us in a lot of ways, asking us to make changes to how we're approaching whatever this thing is. And with Mars in opposition in Leo, that's very passionate and fiery energy to defend what we love and to defend children and stuff like that. And so, and to defend our passions and to just really stand up for ourselves. And so and it's also, Mars represents youthful energy, much more youthful energy. And Saturn represents older, more stagnant, authorities, establishments. And so, during this period of time, we could also see, youth or younger generations passionately standing up to authority or long-standing systems of control and stuff like that, rising up against establishment, especially to defend children in Leo, and to defend, you know, what people personally love and hold dear, and their loyalties and their values, and, you know, what their ability to have joy and to experience joy and happiness. People are going to be very defensive about that type of thing over this, starting now and over the next 2 weeks as we move through this period of time, and Mars comes into opposition. And, you know, Mars is heated, Mars is hot, and square to Uranus, that's just combustion. And Saturn wants us to take our time and be retrograde, be reevaluating everything. So, you know, if it's not well thought out, if it's not planned, if it's not something that you've looked at from every angle and been thinking about for a really long time, and, you know, really are committed to for the long term, any type of impulsive, anything based on feelings, for desire, for like instantaneous freedom, could create some type of long-term unanticipated consequences that bring up trouble that you have to deal with, instant karma that you have to deal with that persists on into the future, and is just like not what you anticipated when you made that decision in the first place. This is just the way the energetics are playing out right now. So we have this whole dynamic going on, and that is also being represented through this full moon in Capricorn. And if you're interested, you know, in seeing how this energy is most likely playing out in your own life from your own chart, I did a video for all of the 12 ascendants for what you can generally expect in terms of this full moon in your life. But generally, this full moon is going to bring up for all of us something that kind of gives us a gauge, or lets us know sort of like where we're at in these changes that we're trying to make, in this forward movement that we're trying to make, and feeling like stifled and limited and held back by in some area of our life, where we're trying to free ourselves and like move forward. Somewhere we're being like held back, and this full moon is really going to show to us how that's going and how we're doing in this process, and what we need to change, what we need to work on. Going to bring something up for us that just kind of shows us our progress and what we still need to work on in order to kind of move forward and get through these more like limited times into that place where we feel we're liberated to be our more authentic self in whatever way that that is particularly affecting us. So, you know, this is just a big theme of this day because of the moon being ruled by Saturn. This square is very much brought into effect today. It could just feel heavy, intense generally. And again, it's bringing up like that trauma, that wounding, and taking us on an emotional journey through a healing process over the next few weeks as we go through this. The last thing that I want to say about this particular full moon is in reference to Mercury, because remember, we are in the Gemini cycle right now, and we had a really just big impact Gemini new moon that was a solar eclipse, and Mercury retrograde, the ruler of Gemini, was conjunct the new moon and square to Neptune. And like I said, you know, if you want to remember exactly what was going on right then, check out my video that I did for the new moon in Gemini. But today, yeah, let's see, what did I write? Things that started being exposed at the new moon in Gemini a couple weeks ago come into full light and greater clarity now with the full moon in Capricorn. So yeah, that's right. I mean, whatever was starting during that new moon, and during that new moon, it was a lot about information being exposed, but also simultaneously being very like diluted and confusing. And that period of time was really all about like trying to gather and observe as much information as possible, because we're to like sort of gain a new perspective on things that had happened from the past that were not like clear and straightforward at the time, and really like sorting through information and gaining new perspectives, alternative viewpoints of things that had happened, so that we can really figure out the whole picture of what is going on in order to like form these new beliefs and let go of beliefs that are no longer serving us, so that we can move forward along this new path and basically like create a new reality in one aspect of our lives or another, wherever the north node is right now, which is the destiny point, the path forward in each and every one of our charts. Wherever that is right now, you know, it's really calling us in one part of our life to start something brand new and to be like the pioneers of a new experience in one area of our life. And So that was all really being activated during the new moon in Gemini. And now we're halfway through that process. The full moon, this is really going to light up and expose some of that information from the past that is coming back in a new light, in more clarity, in more wholeness, and from a new perspective. Give us a kind of overall view. We still don't have the full picture yet. We won't have the full picture until Mercury progresses, makes a third square to Neptune while progressing forward, and then moves out of Mercury's shadow into the later degrees of Gemini and on into Cancer. That's when we'll really start, getting some clarity about, the full context of things moving forward through the summer and into the fall. But for now, we are getting a highlight on, things that came out, things that we learned and started coming out 2 weeks ago. We're going to start kind of getting a fuller perspective, a better picture, a more like just a more full view of that information. And also we have Mercury direct right now as well, and he's at that degree 17 Gemini. The head of a robust youth turns into that of a mature thinker. So we're actually taking this information seriously. Like, we're really trying to get to the bottom of it now. Like, it's not a joke, it's not like, some light haha information. What we're finding out now, what we're putting together is really kind of serious, and we're taking it that way. And we kind of want to get to the point about it. It's not really times for illusions and being unclear and unstraightforward about things are over now. And with this full moon, we want clarity, we want truth. And I think that we are going to start gaining a better overall picture of things that have been going on and things that we haven't fully understood. And having it alter our overall understanding of the direction that we want to take things going forward. We're still not in a decision-making time over this next couple weeks. Again, like I said, unless it is something that is very well planned and thought out, you put a lot of time and effort into, it is just not the time to be making any types of major changes, unless it's pertaining to major changes in your approach to whatever area of life that Saturn is currently restricting and holding you back in. And again, if you're interested, you can check out my videos that I made for the 12 ascendants on how this full moon might be playing out for you in your own ascendant sign. So let's see, did I miss anything? I don't think so. We just really, I find it very ironic that the degree, aside from being an exact trine to the Chiron point, which means that we are going through a transformation and transformational healing process right now, which, we kind of already know, but this really should do a lot to kind of bring us to the next level and helping us to, see what's happened, to process our emotions about it, and to heal to some extent. But I just find it so funny that the sun is at 4 degrees of Cancer, a cat arguing with a mouse, when we're about to have Mars opposing Saturn square Uranus. Like, that really is what that is. Like, there is just absolutely no reason to engage in any type of like needless self-justification or unnecessary conflict, like just for the purpose of being right. That's not going to have any type of, lasting resolution. It's just, we're not primed for that over the next 2 weeks. We really should, try. Mars is also going to be coming invisible during this period of time, which means it's going to be coming in conjunction with the sun. So that really internalizes the energy of Mars and makes it much more like Scorpio than like Aries. Mars rules both Aries and Scorpio. And it makes Mars much more strategic and much more sort of like introverted and internal in the way that the power operates. So really, like, the best way that we could use this energy during this time is like a lot of internal work, like really a lot of like self work and self healing and being motivated and passionate about fixing our issues. Like, Saturn would be very happy with that type of thing during this period of time. And Uranus probably wouldn't be opposed to that either, because Uranus is trying to get us all back to authenticity. So any type of deep internal self work during this time, and being like motivated and actively doing it, that's probably going to be the best way to use and express this energy. Any type of impulsive, rash, heated, spontaneous action to liberate yourself or rebel against a situation or unnecessarily speak your mind about something, you know, I just caution everyone against that because I don't want anybody to, you know, get slapped around by Saturn and his instant karma and then like have to pay the price for it for a while when, you know, that really wasn't what your intention was to begin with. But we just can't be doing that right now. So, overall, you guys, that's what I have for the full moon in Capricorn for June 24th, 2021. We are going on an emotional journey the next couple weeks, guys. Still in a period of lots of exposing of information, lots of truth coming out. Still trying to be deceptive with it to an extent, but now that Mercury is direct and with this full moon, it's not going to, we're going to get the truth. The pieces are coming together and the information is flowing more streamlined now, and, you know, the fog is in the process of clearing. So if you guys liked my video, please give me a thumbs up. Share it with your friends if you think they'd be interested in this information. Ring the bell if you want to get uploads every time that if you want to get notifications every time that I upload a new video. Leave me comments. I love your comments. I have a Facebook group. It's called Aubrey Stars on Facebook if you want to come over there and watch my videos as well. And I wish everybody a beautiful full moon. Lots of energy and introspection, the best way to go about this. So I will see you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys back tomorrow for my astrological outlook of the day for Friday, and we have Neptune going retrograde. See you then, guys. Bye.